Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Right now, UCCU is offering short-term savings options with incredibly high yields. Simply make a deposit, then watch your savings grow with a fixed rate of return that's much higher than a savings account. UCCU also has great offers on jump-up options. So if rates continue to rise, you can jump up your rate and earn even more. Visit uccu.com to learn.
We're going live to a press conference from Wayne County. We've got Lieutenant Cameron Roden with the Utah Highway Patrol right now addressing the media. We're listening to Lieutenant Cameron Roden with the Utah Highway Patrol addressing the triple homicides yesterday down in Wayne County. Okay, we just listened to the press conference about the. Oh my gosh, we listened to a press conference about the Wayne County murders yesterday. 3 murders. What we learned from that was interesting. It was the murders seemed to be not related to the suspect that they now have in custody. So we'll come back and talk about that some more after this break.
Andy, I like that shirt. Is that a new shirt?
It is. It's from Ann Collar, and it's really rare to find a shirt that looks good and is super comfortable. And this is a fabric unlike anything I've ever felt.
I got one for my husband and my sons, and watching my 19-year-old put on the Ann Collar shirt and sort of check himself out in the mirror, I thought, wow, he's really digging that. And I can understand why, because it's not just comfortable, it's stain repellent, which I needed.
Oh, my goodness.
Because,
That is something.
He attracts spaghetti sauce to shirts like you would not believe. And with these Ann Collar shirts, I can get it out.
I have to wear a special bib when I eat spaghetti with a white shirt on. But with Ann Collar shirts, it takes those little tiny nicks and stains, and they don't stick to you. Yeah, you don't have to dump a bucket of stuff on you, but it would repel that too.
You've got to try one. So whether it's the traditional white shirt or any of the patterns they have, it's Ann Collar, and they're made right here in Utah.
If you've never tried Ann Collar before, we have got permission to give you 15% off at andcollar.com and go get your first. Use the code KSL15.
That's Ann Collar, ANDcollar.com.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Only one type of burger. For every pallet. Fries are extra. Large in size. We've got the shakes. Going over the brim.
Hey, this is Chris from JCW's. Put a positive, delicious spin on your day at any one of our 5 locations. In Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, or Harriman. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
With affordable tuition, personal support, and career services, Salt Lake Community College is empowering students to shape Utah's future.
I'm an occupational therapy practitioner.
I'm an electrical engineer.
And I'm in comms, PR, and marketing.
And I'm a Salt Lake Community College alum.
A better Utah starts with a better education. SLCC provides opportunities to students who become alumni that shape Utah's future. See how we're investing in Utah's future at slcc.edu/community.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
We started our show today with a press conference from Wayne County with Lieutenant Cameron Roden with the Utah Highway Patrol and the Department of Public Safety, talking to us about what they have learned since the arrest of the suspect in a triple homicide yesterday. I have with me today a guest host also. It's Jim Bennett. He is a longtime Utah Politico, also a writer, podcaster, and communications expert. So welcome to the fray.
Got to turn my mic on. Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So we have with us also on the line Dave Cawley. He's a KSL podcast host and investigative reporter, and he drove down to Wayne County last night. Dave, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
So I know you were at the press conference. Can you just reiterate what we learned from this press conference that we just heard from Lieutenant Roden?
Absolutely. So let's start with the basic timeline of what we know. About 4:30 yesterday afternoon, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office received a phone call from two men who were at a trailhead where they were expecting to meet their wives, or they maybe had become concerned that their wives hadn't reported in. So they had gone to this trailhead and discovered that these two women were deceased. So the Sheriff's Office came out to begin investigating what appeared to be a double homicide. At the time, they realized that there was a vehicle at this trailhead or near this trailhead that looked like it didn't belong. So they checked the registration. That came back to a home in the Lyman area, so about 10 miles west of this trailhead. When deputies went to that home, they discovered that there was an elderly woman, a woman in her 80s there, also deceased. And so they had, two crime scenes with 3 victims. They did not know who was responsible at the time, but the husbands of these 2 hikers who were discovered near the trailhead told them that one of their wives' cars was missing. So that led to the search overnight, where police across Utah, southern Utah, northern Arizona, even into Colorado, were using technology to try to locate this white Subaru that we talked about all through the morning news today with Utah's Morning News, and that has turned up in Pagosa Springs. When deputies and police were able to locate that car, they said their suspect wasn't in it, but they located him a short time later. He's identified as 22-year-old Ivan Miller. He's from Iowa. He has no known connections to southern Utah or the Wayne County area. And so now, as you can imagine, the investigation turns into trying to understand what brought him to Utah, what maybe prompted this alleged triple homicide, and whether or not there are any other pieces to this, what appears to be spree killing, that we don't yet understand.
Well, can you walk us through, just kind of paint a picture of what the area is like down there?
Absolutely, yeah. So I personally, this is an area close to my heart. I spend a lot of time in and around Capitol Reef. You're in the heart of Utah's Red Rock country. It's these little towns, so Torrey, Teasdale, Lyman, Loa, all part of this Wayne County community. If you can imagine, if you've ever driven in or out of Capitol Reef, you've got these towering red rock cliffs on one side. You've got the pine-crested slopes of Boulder Mountain to the south on the other side. And so in the valleys between are these little towns with the fields. The home where the woman in her 80s was located is right on Utah Highway 24. I mean, literally this red brick ranch house with, a garage and a couple outbuildings that probably thousands of people a day cruise past. As you get closer to the national park on the east where the trailhead is, now you're up into, pinyon, pine, sagebrush country. The rock is a little more pale, and it's just a very placid, beautiful place. I watched the sunrise this morning from one of these crime scenes and was just struck by how beautiful it was, but by how horrible this burst of violence has been.
Dave, can you tell us, the suspect was arrested in Colorado. He's still there, as I understand it. What is the process to get him back to Utah? Do you know?
Yeah, so you're talking about extradition, and that's a couple steps down the line. So At this point, we know that the suspect is in custody. He is presumably being questioned. Whether he's actually talking or not, we have no way of knowing at this point. Assuming that the investigators develop what they believe is probable cause to file criminal charges, that would be the next step. And then at that point, a prosecutor here in Utah would seek to have Mr. Miller extradited or brought back to Utah to face those criminal charges in court. And that's probably, it could move quickly or it could move very slowly depending on how things go in Colorado.
Okay, can you tell us what it's like down there as the community wakes up this morning? Scary, right?
It is scary. And I have to tell you, utmost respect to everybody from KSL who rushed down here overnight, KSL TV, KSL News Radio, KSL.com. Like, we're all trying to get into this community knowing that this has happened. And there was a lot of rumor overnight on social media, people talking about many more victims, about whether this person was still in the area. And so, as I arrived this morning, it was dark, stars were out. Nobody was moving house to house, and it's already a pretty quiet community, but it was very, very quiet. As daylight started to come up, you saw some people moving around, but I think the kind of hushed tones in conversation that I've heard, even from the police at these, two different crime scenes, they're very muted. I think people are feeling the gravity of this loss. We do know that these two victims, although there are three victims, are all from this general area. Their identities not being released yet because the investigators want to give time for the families to make sure everybody's notified, so they're not learning about these three horrible deaths from us in the news media.
But from what you're saying, though, is there any continuing threat to the public? It sounds like there isn't.
The message that we are getting from the investigators is they believe that this is concluded. They have no reason to believe that there's an ongoing threat. They did proactively late yesterday, as this case was just beginning, take steps to close schools in Wayne County, to close some government buildings. And you can imagine, Wayne County it's small. Their sheriff's department doesn't have a huge staff, so it's going to be all hands on deck for them just to manage these two crime scenes. And so really they were, taking proactive steps to keep people out of harm's way, to try to limit any potential for other people to be injured. And now they're similarly, I think, kind of urging people to stay clear of these crime scenes as they do their work today and probably into the next few days.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Dave Cawley, KSL podcast host and investigative reporter down in Wayne County. Stay with us over the break. We'll be right back.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, police say they have arrested a suspect in connection to the murders of 3 women in Wayne County. The Utah Department of Public Safety says they tracked the suspect to a town in southern Colorado where he was taken into police custody early this morning. This comes after 2 women were found dead on a hiking trail in Teasdale, and another was found dead at a home in Lyman. Police say there is no threat to the public. We will update you as soon as we get more information. The Corey Richens trial continues, her legal team trying to prove her innocence in the murder of her husband. Yesterday, her boyfriend took the stand. The relationship reportedly started while she was still married. Texts between the two were read, including one to him asking if her husband was out of the picture, would they get married? One said, quote, "If he could just go away and you could just be here, life would be so perfect," close quote. She also asked him about drugs and if he had ever killed someone. She will be back in court today. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, the search for a new supreme leader reportedly enters its final stages this morning.
That process still underway, and we know that it involves a council of more than 80 members who deliberate and discuss And while there have been some names floated out as potential front runners, including Ayatollah Khamenei's son, there still has not been a decision on a new leader.
That's ABC's Marcus Moore. Your money at this moment, oil has hit a one-year high. We're up $4.90 to $79.56 a barrel. And the Dow is down 809. We're now at 47,930. Coming up, more rain and snow for the next day or so. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
It's time for March Window Mania. From Advanced Window Products, bounce on over to your phone and they'll give you $2,500 off your quote on 10 windows or more. Get the Home Court Advantage. They'll build your windows right here in Salt Lake City, custom for Utah's climate, and you save because they sell direct to the public, no middleman. It's a new season. Spring is here, and when it comes to state-of-the-art custom windows and insulated frames, Advanced Windows is top-seeded, so put them at the top of your bracket and make the call 801-850-9100. You'll get $2,500 off from the family-owned champion since 1986. For 40 years, they've been building and installing replacement windows. Don't wait for the draft to come seeping through your old windows. They'll save you a ton of money on your energy bill, and Advanced offers financing as low as $150 a month. It's the March Window Mania special. Quick, before the buzzer, make the call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or visit advancedwindows.com.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing, a chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. I've recently seen two just delightful plays at Hale Center Theater. One is called Peter Pan Goes Wrong. When a local drama company stages Peter Pan, the stalwart thespians and crew face about any disaster or mishap that you can imagine, and their distress and their consternation fuels our delight and laughter. This is so much fun, and I challenge you not to laugh. And plus, my favorite radio station even gets a nod in this ill-fated production. And then, on the brand new Beehive stage, two local playwrights, Fox and Dietline, have a brand new musical, Hallmarked. It includes tidbits of every Hallmark movie plot you have ever seen. A young woman heads to Vermont to save a floundering reality cooking show, but she's determined not to be Hallmarked. You're going to love the play. You're going to love the music. Get your tickets at hct.org. Don't forget, Hunchback of Notre Dame coming up on March 9th.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. And back to you, Cormac.
Our only issue on I-15 across the Wasatch Front is in Utah County. Northbound I-15 seeing some heavier delays starting in Orem and reaching up toward Linden. We had an emergency traffic situation blocking all but two lanes. They are now just on the right shoulder, so those residual delays are really starting to break up and die out. We also have in Salt Lake County on Bangerter Highway northbound a disabled vehicle blocking the left turn lane just before 41st South. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today, a slight chance of a light snow or rain shower, but overnight tonight we'll get some snow down to the valley floor. Today's high 43, 45 tomorrow, and right now it's 37 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Today it's Holly Richardson and Jim Bennett, and thanks, Jim, for joining me in studio. I appreciate it.
Thrilled to be here. A lot of fun.
Well, we just covered a press conference and talked with Dave Colley down in Wayne County about what we had learned about a suspect being arrested in a triple homicide. One of the things that was really interesting to me about that is that there appears to be, at this point, no connection between the suspect and the victims, and the victims don't seem to be related. There were two friends found on the trail, both deceased, and it was their husbands who called in when their wives didn't come back from hiking. And then they were able to go to a home where they found a woman in her 80s who was also found deceased.
That's absolutely terrifying. It would be absolutely terrifying no matter where you live, but in such a small community like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So for our listeners, we're going to continue to follow that. We'll revisit it at 11 o'clock, but if there's any other information that comes out, we'll be sure to let you know. Right now, though, we're going to pivot and we're going to talk about some bills, especially immigration bills on Utah's Capitol Hill as we wind down the last day and a half of the Utah legislature for 2026. And we have with us on the line Tim Vandenack from KSL.com. Tim, you wrote an article kind of doing a roundup on immigration bills. Can you give us an update on what you're watching?
Yeah, so about 7 bills I've kind of been following related to immigration, immigrants, illegal immigration. You know, like at the national level, a lot of state lawmakers kind of seized on this and trying to do what they can at the state level. But you know, looking at it this morning, not many of them are seem to be moving. There's one, House Bill 209, which would that's meant to make sure that immigrants can't register to vote. It's already against the law. This adds extra steps to try to prevent it. That passed in the Senate, I believe it was yesterday, and it's passed in the House. So that one is moving forward. The other ones, you know, various states, some of them they're kind of stalled, they're pending. But you know, at this late stage, I don't know what sort of maneuvering is possible. But bills like related to E-Verify, making sure employers use E-Verify to make sure their employees are legal residents. You know, another one related to impoundment of vehicles, which relates to complaints that the immigrant community frequently stop without licenses. And a big one that would repeal a bunch of benefits that illegal immigrants are able to tap into. That one is stalled as well. That one caused a big outroar. So
let me just ask you a follow-up question on that last one. Is that the bill that took part of HB 88 and put it into a different bill?
Yes, yeah. So HB 88 was the original that contained a long list of services that illegal immigrants wouldn't be able to tap into, immunizations, food at food banks, housing at homeless shelters. So some of those elements were transferred over to HB 386, and you know, in an attempt to try to move it forward. Both of them are still kind of pending. HB 386, I guess the most controversial, or at least the provision from HB 88 that's caused the most uproar, is eliminating illegal immigrants from being able to tap into in-state tuition, lower in-state tuition at public universities. So still pending.
So that bill is not moving forward, or that bill is moving forward?
Well, you know, it's hard. I don't know what maneuvering is possible, you know, 2 days near the end of the session, but HB 386, it passed narrowly in the House, but it hasn't, and next it would go to the Senate, but it has not been heard by a Senate committee, let alone the full Senate. So, I mean, to me, that sounds like an uphill battle, but I don't know, maybe the lawmakers have workarounds for that sort of thing.
It's both. It is an uphill battle, and there are workarounds. Let me ask you, is there any, what happened with the E-Verify bill?
Yeah, so Monday, that stalled in committee. It did not get a favorable recommendation. And that originally, Utah law originally required, I believe it was employers with 15 or more employees to use systems like E-Verify. During the pandemic, that was raised to 150. Last year, there was a proposal to lower that to 50, didn't go anywhere. So this year, new proposal, Representative Axier, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, proposed reducing that to 50. Then it was, during the negotiation process, it was raised to 100. And at the committee meeting earlier this week, it was raised to 125, minimum of 125 workers, kind of narrowing the pool of companies, I guess, to try to get support, but still it's stalled in committee. So again, don't know if there's a workaround there or what, but it seems stalled.
So it sounds like the only bill that has any momentum is a bill that is a solution in search of a problem. This idea of illegal immigrants voting, which is already illegal, does it add some kind of additional penalty to something that isn't happening?
Well, it spells out more specifically that county clerks must, physically see proof that those people applying to vote are in fact citizens. Like driver's license, when you apply for a driver's license, you're supposed to show proof of citizenship. So those sorts of things. Currently, it's kind of the honor system. You sign a piece of paper, saying yes, I'm a U.S. citizen, but there isn't necessarily any sort of verification process for that.
All right. Thank you so much, Tim. We appreciate that update. That was Tim Vandenack with KSL.com talking about some of the immigration bills. Most of them have stalled out, and I really liked the way you framed that last question, because I personally think that there are many bills this year that were solutions in search of a problem, right? There's been a lot of message bills this year.
Well, that always sort of seems to be the case with the legislature. They seem to have a lot of fun grandstanding about all of these things, but when push comes to shove, not a lot happens with regard to some of these bills that just really are kind of meaningless. Although this one bill, it sounds like this is sort of a state version of the SAVE Act, which has died.
Correct. Yeah, and we don't think that's moving forward. And you're right. I mean, that's been part of the whole conversation. So we've got an immigration component, but we also have a lot of election bills. A lot of those have stalled out as well. So when we come back, we're actually going to have a chance to go back to Lieutenant Roden and talk to him while he's available down there in Wayne County, and we'll take our listeners live to the scene. Thanks.
Amanda, I've got a cruise planned in a couple of months, and I was thinking about the other people who may have cruises planned coming up a few months from now, and why right now would be the best time for them to begin their weight loss journey on Soda Weight Loss.
If you started right now, you could lose 20, 30, 40 pounds before June.
That's right.
I lost 37 pounds in 3 months, 3.5 years ago. And the beauty about soda is it's not a quick fix. This is learning that is going to last you the rest of your life and help you be healthy.
Your clothes fit better. Your energy comes back. You don't get winded going upstairs.
Yeah.
Things that maybe you don't even realize. When I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, it felt like a transformation.
You learn what works for your body so you don't get addicted to shots or drugs. You just work with a nutritionist who's going to teach you how to keep the weight off for a lifetime.
Right now, you should go check out sodaweightloss.com, see all the thousands of before and after pictures, or speak with a nutritionist by giving a call 866-800-SODA.
Soda Weight Loss. Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
I'm Christian Staples with Arctic Spas. This weekend is the biggest home show of the year, and Arctic Spas will be there with our biggest demonstration of Arctic Spa hot tubs, swim spas, all-weather pools, cold tubs, and saunas. We'll be introducing our new Polar Bear, the biggest swim spa we have ever made. It comes in at 18 feet long, giving you more room for your family fun or swimming. If you're looking for something big, this is the big weekend to find it at the Mountain America Expo Center. With a new Arctic Spa, we are giving away 100% water care automation for free, saving you $4,000. You can get our automatic natural saltwater system and automatic pH control for free. Home shows are awesome to see lots of options all under one roof and to find the best deals for you, saving you time and money. Check out our home show specials and the new Polar Bear on our website at arcticspasutah.com or stop by one of our 3 stores covering all of Utah in Salt Lake, American Fork, and St. George. Arctic Spa, the only spa built for Utah's harsh climate.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org.
Inside Sources.
This is Holly Richardson, and I'm joined today by Jim Bennett, who is in studio with me. And we started the show, Jim, on an unusual note, and that was covering a press conference about a triple homicide.
Down in Wayne County, of all
Tiny.
places. Yeah.
Tiny Wayne County, of all places. And, you know, one of the things that I saw as things were starting to unfold, first on social media last night, right, is that there were orders for people to shelter in place down there, that things were closed. They were closing down the schools today because at the time, last night, there was no suspect, and there were at least 3 victims. So this morning, we found out that they were able to arrest the suspect, I guess, in Colorado. And there was a press conference right as we were starting the show, as I mentioned. And one of the things that really stood out to me is it seems to be random.
That's what makes it so terrifying. I mean, if you could point to some kind of domestic dispute, if you could point to something that just kind of makes sense, but these victims seem to have no connection with the suspect. There doesn't seem to be any sort of logical motive other than he wanted their car, but how did he get to Wayne County in the first place without a car? I mean, it's just what's terrifying is the unknown, and there is so much unknown about this case.
Yeah. When we talked earlier with Dave Colley, one of the things that he said was that things seem really muted. So not only the people in the community as well, but law enforcement is just very quiet. It's already a quiet community, and this morning it seemed even more quiet.
Well, I used to live in Los Angeles. I lived in Los Angeles during the Rodney King riots.
Oh, wow.
And so when there's all kinds of stuff happening in a huge city, that's very different from a tiny community. And I've lived in tiny communities as well. Their whole world is rocked by something like this. And you don't know, I mean, they've said that they don't think there's any continuing danger to the public, but when something like this happens, you just don't know.
It shatters that illusion of I'm safe down here, right? And I know in little communities, it's a community where a lot of people don't lock their doors and, don't lock the garage, maybe leave the keys in the car. I don't know. But it's got to be just something that rocks the community in a way that you don't just say, okay, well, tomorrow we're back to normal, go to school and everything's fine. It's not going to be that way.
No, that's absolutely right.
Well, we have Lieutenant Cameron Roden with the Utah Highway Patrol to talk with us today. Thanks for joining us, Lieutenant.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So this story, we were just talking, it's really pretty rattling to have it seems so random. Can you tell us what you know right now about the suspect that was arrested this morning?
So right now, the suspect that is in custody in Colorado is a 22-year-old resident out of Iowa that has no relationship with the victims and no connections to the area. So like you had mentioned, kind of one that we are still putting all the pieces together about this incident and trying to see ultimately why it all occurred. But as far as the incident that had happened, he stole a vehicle from a registered owner that was killed in the Lyman area. That vehicle was driven over to a trailhead near Teasdale and near Torrey, and off of SR-12, where that vehicle was left, and then that's where the other crime scene was, where the other two deceased females were located. One of those deceased females was their vehicle was taken, and that's what the vehicle that law enforcement tracked through southern Utah into northern Arizona and eventually into Colorado, where Colorado agencies were able to take him into custody.
Well, so how does he get to Wayne County? Why does he need a vehicle? I mean, it must have taken something to get him down there.
And that's what we're working on currently, trying to establish his movements and his involvement here in Utah prior to this incident happening and seeing what ultimately he was doing here.
Lieutenant Roden, can you maybe answer how is that vehicle tracked?
So we were able to use some automated license plate readers that gave us some information, but then also some of the integrated tracking services in the vehicle. We were able to use both of those, and which ultimately helped us to eventually to where we could see where he was and help to coordinate law enforcement activities in Colorado so that they could get him into custody.
Just one follow-up question to that. If you're using license plate readers, I know it's a pretty rural area. Are they like all over that area? Are they just like the major parks? Or can you say? They're spread around kind of all over, and the distance that he traveled from here in this area, actually he went down into northern Arizona, up actually over to New Mexico before going up, so he traveled quite a distance.
This has got to be absolutely terrifying to everybody in the community. I mean, what's your sense of the feeling, the mood of the people that you're talking to?
For sure, yeah, they're nervous and they're scared. We're glad to be able to tell them that the suspect is in custody and that danger is no longer there. But that doesn't take things away, and this is something that they'll deal with for a while.
So, Lieutenant Roden, you mentioned in your press conference that it was the husband of the two women found on the husbands of the two women found on the trail that called in the first report. I wonder if you can give us any sense of maybe how they're doing or what that was like.
with any type of situation like this, and having an overdue hiker and have it turn into a situation like this is definitely got to be devastating and very tragic. And so I have not personally spoken with them, but we're trying to work with them, and for their sakes, we're glad that we were able to bring this person in.
Well, how are things being coordinated now that he's in Colorado? What happens now?
So we will work on the charges here for Utah, and in order to get him extradited to Utah, but also right now we're still processing the two scenes. So still very early on in this investigation, and still a lot of things to nail down.
Do you have any general advice for the community there about moving forward, right? I mean, they probably are really shaken. What can they anticipate? This is not hey, everything's back to normal by Monday.
Right. And we hope that this is something that will bring a community together and help, especially to help support the victims through this incident, and because it will take some time to heal. And as law enforcement, we want to reiterate that we're here to help and to do what we can to bring closure.
Well, just listening to you and having watched the press conference, it sounds like you're a steady hand at the wheel here. You guys seem to be handling this really well.
We do what we can, and in law enforcement, that's one of the things that that you sign up for. You want to help people, and you want to help people who are in their times of need, and this is one of those.
I just have one final question about the suspect. Well, I guess it's a two-parter. One, there's only one suspect that you were looking for, right? So no further threat to the public?
Correct. No, we don't believe that there are any parties outstanding.
Okay, and then my other just final question about the suspect. I think I heard you say this in the press conference, but there's no indication that this suspect ever had any interactions with law enforcement before now.
Not here in Utah, but again, still early on, and in the following days and time forward, we will kind of go back through his history from his time here in Utah, but also his criminal history, not just in here in Utah, but any other state that he's got involvement in.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Lieutenant Cameron Roden with the Utah Highway Patrol. And again, keeping us updated on the triple homicide in Wayne County.
Well, it seems like there's a whole lot more to learn. So initially they said there's no criminal record, but there may be some criminal record in other states.
Right. That's right. And so that was good to get that clarification. You're right. So again, we will keep you all updated as we learn more. This situation, it's just so tragic. And unexpected, right? Of course, you can't expect something like this. So when we come back, we're going to talk with our congressional reporter in Washington, D.C. about the musical chairs maybe in Utah's congressional districts. Stay with us over the break.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, a 22-year-old from Iowa has been arrested in Colorado, accused of killing 3 women in Wayne County, Utah. Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden just told Inside Sources how they tracked the suspect.
So we were able to use some automated license plate readers that gave us some information, but then also some of the integrated tracking services in the vehicle. We were able to use both of those.
2 of the victims were found dead yesterday afternoon on a hiking trail just outside of Torrey. Then another woman was found dead at a home near Lyman. We have a team of reporters on the scene, and we will update you throughout the day. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, the White House continues to stand by their decision to strike Iran.
Sort of a cleanup effort after the Secretary of State Marco Rubio earlier this week had said that the reason for the action was because they thought that if Israel had gone first, there would have been significant retaliation by Iran that would have endangered U.S. personnel and assets in the region. But now yesterday, the White House was saying the president had a feeling based on fact about this imminent threat by Iran. But Caroline Levitt didn't give more specifics about intelligence behind that.
ABC's Karen Travers reporting from the White House. Your money at this moment, the Dow is off 768 points. That's more than 1.5%. We're at 47,976. Coming up, another round of rain and maybe some snow in the valley. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother. A necklace tucked away in a drawer. Pieces full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jeweler specializes in reimagining family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Duke's on-site jewelers and designers work with you one-on-one to honor the original story while creating something fresh, modern, and uniquely yours. From resetting diamonds into new engagement rings to transforming multiple heirloom pieces into one stunning design. Every project is crafted with care, precision, and intention. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com. Duke's Jewelers, where old stories become new treasures. dukesjewelers.com.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. Keep in mind, it's not just you.
I owed roughly $34,000.
$61,000. When the IRS first contacted me, I was horrified.
When they start hounding you and harassing you and assaulting you.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
From what I got told was being done in a matter of 2 years, he had done in a matter of like 48 hours.
It's a great thing to have the IRS off your back.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Once I signed on with Jordan, I never talked to the IRS again.
It changed our lives.
You need someone to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com.
Amanda, I've got a cruise planned in a couple of months, and I was thinking about the other people who may have cruises planned coming up a few months from now, and why right now would be the best time for them to begin their weight loss journey on Soda Weight Loss.
If you started right now, you could lose 20, 30, 40 pounds before June.
That's right.
I lost 37 pounds in 3 months, 3.5 years ago. And the beauty about soda is it's not a quick fix. This is learning that is going to last you the rest of your life and help you be healthy.
Your clothes fit better. Your energy comes back. You don't get winded going upstairs.
Yeah.
Things that maybe you don't even realize. When I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, it felt like a transformation.
You learn what works for your body so you don't get addicted to shots or drugs. You just work with a nutritionist who's going to teach you how to keep the weight off for a lifetime.
Right now, you should go check out sodaweightloss.com, see all the thousands of before and after pictures, or speak with a nutritionist by giving a call 866-800-SODA.
Soda Weight Loss. Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. And back to you, Cormac.
Northbound I-15 in Utah County, we're still seeing some residual delays behind a crash just after 1600 North, blocking that right shoulder. We also have a new crash also in the right shoulder just after Center Street in Orem. It looks like they're causing a little bit of delay, not anything too terrible. We also have delays eastbound on Pioneer Crossing. Those are pretty regular, but a little bit heavy as you try to get on I-15. Otherwise, road rays across the Wasatch Front, not seeing anything too awful. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cyprus Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypruscu.com today. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
This morning's rain will take a break through the afternoon, but pick back up tonight. The KSL Weather Center says some of that rain could turn to snow even here in the valley. Right now, it's 39 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
This morning, it's Holly Richardson and Jim Bennett, and Jim has been involved in politics for a long, long time. He's also got a podcast. He's a writer. He's a singer. We're going to talk about that later. But
do I have to sing on the show here today?
I would welcome it. So feel free. But because we talk a lot about politics, and we have talked forever about the redistricting in Utah because it has been so lawsuity. but we finally have, we finally have the districts for the 2026 election, which is a good thing because filing for candidates opens on Monday. And we have some musical chairs maybe going on with the Utah delegation that's current. And we have with us Cami Mondo. She's the congressional correspondent with the Deseret News to help break it down. Hi, Cami.
Hey, how are you?
We're good. First of all, let's start with who's retiring.
Yes, that was the big announcement yesterday that Burgess Owens will not be running for another term next year, which really helped pave the way for all the incumbents to just choose a district without having to get into any awkward member-on-member primaries.
Well, Burgess Owens, he's 74 years old. Is that right? Was he talking about retirement before this, or is this just something that the redistricting has forced his hand on?
It was widely rumored that he would be considering retirement. I think we were just waiting to see what the final map would look like. Burgess Owens is pretty popular with the voters in his district, and so it was kind of a question of whether he would want to run again. But as you mentioned, he is the oldest of the delegation, and so it was kind of rumored that he might be the one to take a step back, which is ultimately what he did.
Cami, let me ask you this about Representative Owens. Is he also the longest serving at 6 years, not including Senator Mike Lee?
I think he and Blake Moore were both elected the same year in that 2020 election, so at least those two have been together. But in terms of the House delegation, with Malloy and Kennedy, they are still fairly new.
All right.
I still remember that 2020 election and how ugly it was between Burgess Owens and Ben McAdams. And now Ben McAdams is going for the new district that the legislature's furious about because it's a Democratic majority district. But that was a really ugly election. Do you think that sort of plays into this at all? Is he terrified that if he were to go up against Ben McAdams again in that new district that he'd be certain to lose?
I think for any of the Republicans, I think they may have even just ruled out going for that new first district just because it does lean so far Democratic. And so, Ben McAdams does have a very good chance of being reelected. I don't think any of the Republican incumbents were planning to run there just because of how blue it is. I think really with Burgess Owens' decision, it was mainly also just to avoid having to go against any of the Republican incumbents in a primary.
So, Cami, of the remaining three, you've got Representative Blake Moore. He's probably going to run. Well, they're all going to run where they basically represent now. Is that right? So, Blake Moore, Mike Kennedy, and Celeste Malloy.
Right, yeah, Blake Moore's district didn't change too much, so he'll still stay in that northern Utah. It's now the second district just because the numbering got all different. But yeah, so Kennedy and Malloy were the two question marks of where they would run. They've decided that Celeste Malloy is going to go into the new third district, which takes up most of southern Utah and a little bit of the eastern side, and then Kennedy will take the new fourth district.
And is that Utah County-ish and maybe Carbon?
Yes, it's a little bit. They all have a little bit of Utah County, and then he's going to be sandwiched in between Blake Moore in the north and Malloy in the south.
Interesting. What do you know about other candidates who've either announced or are rumored to jump into these congressional races?
Right, and now that we know where the incumbents are running, I think we're going to see a lot more announcements for people running. One today was Phil Lyman. He's very well known among Republican circles. He's going to be challenging Celeste Malloy in the GOP primary for the 3rd district. That is one of the biggest primary challenges we've seen so far, although, time is of the essence. We could see more in the coming days, but that was one that came out this morning shortly after the map kind of solidified.
Doesn't he have to concede his loss in the governor's race before he runs for a new office?
Maybe that would be a requirement. You never know.
Cami, what about, I know there's Dave Robinson who's filed, he hasn't filed because filing opens on Monday, but he announced that he's going to run in this new 1st congressional district. Do you anticipate there could be other Republicans who jump into that race, even though it might be an uphill battle?
There are likely to be a few who may want to get in there. There are some different, studies looking at the political makeup. Yes, it is a very Democratic district compared when you look at the presidential voting data. But there are some people who argue that, Governor Cox did pretty well there, too. And so you have some Republicans who, if they're moderate enough, depending on which Democrat wins their primary, let's say it's Nate Bluin, he's definitely running as a progressive. If you have a very moderate Republican, maybe there'd be a chance for that to be a competitive race.
Well, Ben McAdams and Nate Bluin are both really well-established figures in the Democratic Party in the state. Do you anticipate that might end up being sort of an ugly race too, or is this going to be more congenial than it's been in the past?
I do expect it to be a very competitive primary, especially between those two, as you said. I guess it'll depend, I guess, how they want to run. Nate Bluin's made it very clear to me that he's running to be an outsider from the Utah delegation. He does not want to be a moderate, but that is definitely how Ben McAdams is running. I guess when you finally get into debates, that may come out where, Nate will go after McAdams' voting record, where he was a very moderate, middle-of-the-road guy when he was here in Congress.
There are a few other Democrats who have announced that they want to run there as well. I think Senator Kathleen Reeby is one. Is that right?
Yes, she is, and she was the first Democrat to actually put her bid out there once the new district was announced.
Yeah. Are you hearing any rumblings back in D.C. about Utah's races? I know we're kind of off the radar a lot of times, but we will maybe or likely drop the Republican delegation by one.
Yes, I think this is probably the first time that Utah has actually been starting to be talked about as one of the races that could determine the House makeup next year. This being such a prime pickup opportunity for Democrats, they only have to net 4 seats in November to win the majority. I think people are now starting to look at the Utah delegation, now knowing that Burgess Owens is going to be leaving, to know that there is going to be a new Democrat, most likely, who will be joining the Utah ranks next year, and that has definitely gotten a lot of national attention.
Well, President Trump has even jumped into the fray and insisted that we need to repeal Proposition 4 to make sure that there isn't a Democrat that comes from Utah. I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah, and all...
No, go ahead.
Yes. All of that signature gathering efforts and the president getting involved, yes, that's definitely especially got a lot more interest up here.
So I do think it's interesting that Phil Lyman did announce that he's going to collect signatures because he's been pretty outspoken about not liking that path. So I found that interesting.
Well, it's not just that he doesn't like the path.
Yes, and it looks like he needs...
Oh, he's insisted that's illegitimate.
7,000, so...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
7,000 signatures. Verified, not just collected. So, well, Cammie, thanks as always for keeping us updated on what's happening with Congress and including today our congressional seats and the merry-go-round musical chairs that's happening. One of the things I think that's interesting, Jim, is that filing has changed. So everybody else who's running this year had to file in January before the legislative session starts. And these congressional races, the filing doesn't start until Monday because they were pushing it off as far as they could to allow a legal process to play out and see if maybe they could have different maps. But we have the maps.
We have the maps, and they were doing as many legal Hail Marys as they could to make sure that to try to be able to throw those maps out. But and they may succeed in 2028.
For 2028, I know. Yeah, so enjoy your time because you may get one term and that's it. Okay, well, the United States just announced a major cyber hacker takedown. We're going to talk with FBI special agent in charge of the FBI division about what happened when we come back.
It's time for March Window Mania. From Advanced Window Products, bounce on over to your phone and they'll give you $2,500 off your quote on 10 windows or more. Get the Home Court Advantage. They'll build your windows right here in Salt Lake City, custom for Utah's climate, and you save because they sell direct to the public, no middleman. It's a new season. Spring is here, and when it comes to state-of-the-art custom windows and insulated frames, Advanced Windows is top-seeded, so put them at the top of your bracket and make the call 801-850-9100. You'll get $2,500 off from the family-owned champion since 1986. For 40 years, they've been building and installing replacement windows. Don't wait for the draft to come seeping through your old windows. They'll save you a ton of money on your energy bill, and Advanced offers financing as low as $150 a month. It's the March Window Mania special. Quick, before the buzzer, make the call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100 or visit advancedwindows.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that can make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 801-896-9622. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
Andy, I like that shirt. Is that a new shirt?
It is. It's from Ann Collar, and it's really rare to find a shirt that looks good and is super comfortable. And this is a fabric unlike anything I've ever felt.
I got one for my husband and my sons, and they watching my 19-year-old put on the Ann Collar shirt and sort of check himself out in the mirror. I thought, wow, he's really digging that. And I can understand why, because it's not just comfortable, it's stain repellent, which I needed.
Oh, my goodness.
Because, I mean,
something.
He attracts spaghetti sauce to shirts like you would not believe. And with these Ann Collar shirts, I can get it out.
Amanda, I have to wear a special bib when I eat spaghetti with a white shirt on. But with Ann Collar shirts, it takes those little tiny nicks and stains, and they don't stick to you. Yeah, you don't have to dump a bucket of stuff on you, but it would repel that too.
You've got to try one. So whether it's the traditional white shirt or any of the patterns they have, it's Ann Collar, and they're made right here in Utah.
If you've never tried Ann Collar before, we have got permission to give you 15% off at AnnCollar.com and go get your first. Use the code KSL15.
That's Ann Collar, ANDCollar.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
The new Inside Sources.
I'm going to share a dumb Holly story. So I joined Twitter, I think in 2008, a long time ago. And maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
You still call it Twitter, though. So it shows
I do still. I know, right? It's X now, but whatever. It's still Twitter. I had been notified that I had information that had been in a leak, obtained in a leak, right? Sign-in information. I didn't do anything about it. And then I got a notice that my password had been changed to Twitter. I'm like, wait, what? I didn't do that. And then I tried to get in and I couldn't. And what had happened is a hacker took over my account because I had a lot of years of history and I had a lot of followers. And they changed the name, so I was able to get the name Holly on the Hill back, but I could never get the account back. And what they did was use it to like hype up their cryptocurrency scam that they were trying to do and make it look legit, right? Because instead of saying this is not a brand new Twitter account. Anyway, I always feel dumb sharing that story, but I think it was a lesson to me to take it seriously when I get these notifications that say, hey, your information has been compromised. Well, I read this press release from the DOJ that said that the United States led the dismantlement of one of the world's largest hacker forums called Leakbase, where forum users could buy and sell information from stolen databases.
Well, I'm always stunned when I read things like this because if what's the United States waiting for if they can see this forum? I mean, the forum, if I can go onto a forum and start talking about all of the data that I've stolen.
Well, I don't know, but we have somebody we can ask.
Yeah.
So we have FBI Special Agent in charge of the Salt Lake City Division, Robert Bowles, with us. Thanks for joining us, Special Agent.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Can you just start by telling us what is Leakbase?
Sure. Leakbase is it was one of the top cyber criminal forums operating since 2021. So they would essentially allow posters to share database dumps, credentials, personal information, software vulnerabilities, all those things that have been obtained by hackers through unauthorized access and so on and so forth. And so they'd share that on this forum for anyone to be able to go and purchase.
So this is a public forum, and we all knew about it. Is the difficulty finding out who it is that runs it?
So yeah, there's a lot of difficulties. So when it comes to cyber criminals, one of the biggest parts of what we deal with is the fact that it's almost always international. And you know, this cyber threat nowadays really boils down to it's an international threat. And so as we start to look into it, it's a matter of building a case, discovering who are the administrators on it, obtaining the right amount of evidence, and then also building a case in order to be able to take down not only the infrastructure that is behind it, but to find anyone who might be involved in it and try to stop them from doing what they're doing.
So when you say that Leakbase has been taken down, what does that mean? Or is it just going to pop up in a different place?
Well, right now, what we did is we created what's called a splash page. So we took over the actual forum and we created a splash page. So if you go onto the forum, you see that the FBI, the DOJ, and all the partners, international and national, have taken over that actual website. Now, there's always a chance that someone's going to go somewhere else and start it again, likely. But that's one of the reasons why we are trying to do a press release and also doing something we're calling Operation Winter Shield.
Can you explain more about that? What's that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Operation Winter Shield is a 60-day national outreach initiative. It's so we can translate our investigative perspective and what we're seeing in these cases to actionable ideas and things that organizations and people can do to implement ways to deny these adversaries access to their systems and their data.
Well, to do that, you have to coordinate with a whole bunch of different foreign governments. That's got to be just a massive logistical challenge.
It really is. Fortunately, because we continually do this, we have incredible partners internationally. Europol, one of them, the Netherlands, more than I can really mention in a single interview, but there's a substantial amount of partners that we work. And this takedown really highlights the importance of working closely with our partners, both international and domestic.
So is your Winter Shield initiative, is that really aimed towards businesses and how they can secure their databases?
It sure is. It really helps small business owners. I mean, when you talk about larger businesses, a lot of larger businesses tend to understand the risk in cyber crime, and they have pretty decent cyber hygiene and work with incident response companies and companies to help shore up their networks. But Operation Winter Shield really gives small business owners and even large corporations a roadmap to better secure their systems.
Well, even individuals. I mean, is there something that individuals some way they can use this guidance to proactively reduce the likelihood that their data ends up in the hands of cyber criminals?
Yes, absolutely. And it starts with good basic cyber hygiene. It starts with rotating passwords, participating in two-factor authentication. It's so annoying, when you have to get a text message to be able to type in a password and so on and so forth. But that type of thing is really what saves you from being hacked.
What do you tell businesses? Same thing? Use two-factor authentication? What are their top tips?
Yeah, phish-resistant authentication, implementing a risk-based vulnerability management program. I know there's a lot of high speak, but really understanding what the risk is and where the vulnerabilities are. There's a lot of technology that it costs a lot to put into end of life. But unfortunately, if they don't do that, then a lot of technology may not be updated with the appropriate protections. So it costs a little bit of money to do and takes a little bit of time and effort. But doing that with your technology and with your passwords and with your employees, ensuring that good cyber hygiene is followed.
Well, one other question. I'm not sure if you can speak on this, but with the recent military action in Iran, Iran has had a reputation, or at least there's been allegations of cyber attacks coming from Iran. Is that becoming a more? Does that figure into this? Is that complicating this situation at all?
So what you have to look at is there's two different types of things when we're dealing with this. There's the cyber criminal action, which are individuals that take action independent of nation states, and then there are nation state actions. And so when we're talking about nation state actions, such as actions taken by Iran, those things are handled by our national security side, by our partners in D.C. with NSA and other agencies, as well as the FBI. And so we certainly have been taking all appropriate actions and preparations for any type of potential cyber attacks from Iran. But for specific details, obviously, I can't really get into that.
All right. Is there any other anything else, I guess, that just members of the public in general should be on the lookout for?
In general, I'll just go back to the good cyber hygiene. Just doing what you can to protect yourself, and then as businesses would go back to the Operation Winter Shield, we provide literally on FBI.gov/Winter Shield. We have a 10-step guide how to safeguard information and protect your infrastructure. So anyone can just go there and find what we suggest based on what investigative things we found.
All right. Thank you so much. That was FBI Special Agent in charge of the Salt Lake City Division, Robert Bowles. And, it's interesting because we also have discussions about fraud. So this is hackers, but then we also need to be aware of people who are getting really, really good at using AI or scary things to get access to your information. So just be careful out there. When we come back, the world's largest family reunion / family history conference opened this morning at 8 o'clock, and we are going to talk to somebody, Whitney Peterson, who is one of the central planning managers there when we come back.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, we are learning more about the 3 women who were found dead in Wayne County, as well as the man accused of killing them. Police say the suspect is 22-year-old Ivan Miller, and he is from Iowa. Miller is accused of killing an elderly woman at a home in Lyman before driving her car to a trailhead near Torrey and killing 2 more women.
We have nothing to suggest that they were targeted specifically. And again, we have nothing to suggest that they had any prior relationship, and he has no connections to this area.
Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden says Miller was located and arrested in a small town in southern Colorado early this morning. Police are still working to figure out the motive for the murders. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Ukrainian officials announced this morning they're putting a pause on peace talks with Russia. Former senior Defense Department official Mick Mulroy says it's related to the U.S. strike against Iran.
This is a geographic issue, quite frankly. The peace talks were happening in Abu Dhabi, and right now it's not safe to travel to Abu Dhabi because of the Iran war.
Reports say Ukraine has regained some settlements in the southeast region of their country, pushing Russian troops back. Mulroy says Ukraine's knowledge of defending themselves against Iranian-made drones could also be valuable to the U.S. military as they continue their strikes against Iran. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 926 points now. That's almost 2 full %. We're at 47,808. Coming up, another wave of storm is headed our way. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Only one type of burger. For every pallet. Fries are extra. Large in size. We've got the shakes. Going over the brim.
Hey, this is Chris from JCW's. Put a positive, delicious spin on your day at any one of our 5 locations. In Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, or Harriman. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org.
This weekly tax tip is brought to you by the Utah Association of Certified Public Accountants. Here's CEO Susan Spears.
Hey homeowners, there are important tax changes this year to how much you can deduct for property taxes. Let's talk SALT, the tax kind. SALT stands for state and local taxes. It includes property taxes, state income taxes, and some local taxes you pay during the year. For several years, taxpayers were capped at deducting just $10,000 of SALT on their federal return. Under the new law, that cap has been raised up to $40,000 for many taxpayers. There's an income phase-out for higher earners, and married couples filing separately are limited to half the amount.
Get the most out of your income tax preparation when you hire a licensed CPA. Visit uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. And check out new tax tip videos by following on social media at Talk to Your CPA.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. And back to you, Cormac.
The crashes we had on I-15 in Utah County have cleared off the road. It's once again a problem-free drive on all your major freeways all across the Wasatch Front. We do still have a little bit of delay eastbound on Pioneer Crossing trying to get on I-15, and some scattered delays both directions on 2100 or on the 201 freeway through Magna. Looking for a dose of love, laughter, and a little bit of magic? Try out our bubbly romantic comedy at the Opera, Donizetti's The Elixir of Love. March 7th through the 15th at the Capitol Theater. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We won't get much above 43 today, and the rain is expected to pick up again this evening and last overnight into Friday morning. Some of that rain could even turn to snow in the valleys. Right now it's 39 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
It's Holly Richardson and Jim Bennett today, and Jim and I have both run for office. Greg Skordas ran for office too, right? And I will just say winning is more fun than losing, and we've all had a chance to experience the not win. But I wanted to do a little pivot. Sorry for setting up a family reunion. We'll do that next. But I want to talk about Iran. And one of the things that's interesting, so there are still a number of Americans that are stuck over there, not able to get home.
It's shades of 79 when
Yeah.
they seized the embassy over there?
That what? Yeah. They were held for, I think, 444 days, if I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Those hostages that were held there. So these are not hostages, right? But people who can't get home. And we talked yesterday with a couple who is stuck in Dubai. They went on a world religions tour, actually. And there's like 65 of them, and they can't get out. But one of the things that struck me is that the BYU Jerusalem Center is deliberately not sending people home.
Oh, I didn't know that. Why is that?
They are. And so one of the things that they did, and I guess there was a Zoom meeting yesterday where they were talking to parents, and they just said that they looked at the where they were, and they felt safer staying in place than they did trying to transit across the country to get to an airport and maybe get out.
Interesting. There's a guy in the Tabernacle Choir with me who was serving at the BYU Jerusalem Center, working at the BYU Jerusalem Center, and told me all the stories of how they dealt with the October 7th war.
Yeah,
and
I follow him on social media, actually. We've never met in person. But yeah, I remember him talking about whether he was going to be evacuated, and they were at that time.
But it makes sense, though, that they're safer sort of just sheltering in place over there.
Yeah, that's what they said. And so that was really interesting to me that they decided that they were going to stay in place. And it's, again, I think one of the things that you got to look at the whole picture, right? So I read one of the news articles I read about them staying there is they were saying there's still debris that even lands right there on the property, but it's from drones or missiles being shot down. And so it's pieces of incoming missiles that ended up landing there, but they don't feel like they're in as much danger, I guess, there.
Well, when this guy in the choir was talking about it, he said that you could hear it. It was like rainfall.
Oh, wow.
And they said, don't worry, their missiles are too weak to do anything to us.
Oh, gosh.
But, I mean, what's that like to be able to hear your building being assaulted and saying, well, they're just not that bad. So
oh, my gosh.
We're just going to stay here. This is probably a different circumstance.
Well, it is interesting, right? And so this happened, Saturday morning, I think, that the U.S. and Israel sent missiles into Iran. It's still going. We've been talking about it all week, but one of the things that happened yesterday and is going to happen again today is a vote on the War Powers Act. So what do you know about the War Powers Act?
Well, I know that President Trump doesn't know anything about the War Powers Act. The War Powers Act, my understanding of it is that it allows the president to respond to an imminent threat.
Right.
And I saw one tweet from somebody in the State Department who says, yeah, Iran has been an imminent threat for 47 years. And I'm thinking, that's not what the word imminent means.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's right. And you know what's interesting about the War Powers Act, and there's a War Powers Resolution. So the U.S. Constitution sets up that the President of the United States has control. He's the commander-in-chief of the military, all the branches of the military. And that Congress is the place to go to declare war.
Which we haven't done since World War II.
That is correct. So what we have is after 1973, in 1973, but it was related to Vietnam, that Congress passed a War Powers Resolution that said, basically, if there is an imminent threat, like you just mentioned, the president can take military action, but then he has to go to Congress, he has to notify them, and he has to get permission from them to continue, right? It's not just, hey, we're going to get into a 4-year-long war or an endless war or even a 5-month war, right? what's supposed to happen is that he's supposed to go ask, he or she, but supposed to go ask Congress for permission to continue, basically. Well, yesterday the U.S. Senate, had a vote of confidence for the president's military strategy. They were discussing the War Powers Act, and ABC's Rachel Scott actually has more from Washington about that.
The motion to discharge is not approved.
Senate Republicans rejecting a bill to block further military action in Iran unless the president gets congressional approval first. The Constitution grants Congress the sole power to declare war.
So that died yesterday, and today the U.S. House is going to talk about that.
And it's likely to die in the House as well.
Yeah, they expect it to die in the House as well. In fact, I heard a statement from U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson saying he was praying that it died because the president needed the ability to do what he needed to do.
Oh, this is the thing that drives me crazy about the Trump administration, is that we've normalized so many things that shouldn't be normal. This is not normal. Even when we went into Iraq both times, when both Bushes took us to Iraq, there was a lengthy, attempt to win over the public, an attempt to get an international coalition.
Sure.
There's been none of that here. This has just been Donald Trump just pulling this out of his whatever he's pulling it out of, and here we are.
So one of the things that we have seen so far, right, is this has broadened, it's expanded. We know that there are 6 service members who have died, our U.S. service members who have died. There's something like 1,200 plus in Iran who have died. And we know one of the targets that was hit in the very first day was a school, largely girls at that school, not exclusively, but something like 168 kids died there. So that's one of the issues, right? But it's ongoing, right? So we've heard Marco Rubio give mixed messages. So at first he said, we did this at Israel's request. And then we heard President Trump say, no, I asked Israel to do this. And then Rubio kind of changed his stance. But it's interesting.
They can't even decide if this is a war or not.
Well, they call it a war, but it's not a declared war,
well,
right?
I mean, but they're asked, are we at war? No, this isn't a war. This is a conflict. Well, what is the difference between a war and a conflict? And
whether Congress declares it or not.
Whether Congress declares it or not. But they're trying just very hard to sort of blur the line between that in order to be able to sort of provide some kind of flimsy legal justification for it.
Yeah, so again, we were talking about people stranded, and in fact, when we visited with the American couple that was stranded in Dubai, one of the things they said is when you call the State Department hotline, it says don't depend on the government for help in getting out, basically. So ABC's Shannon Kingston has more about that, actually.
We've heard Secretary of State Marco Rubio say that there was a plan in place, but I think it is fair to say, based on what we have heard from officials, they were not prepared for Iranian retaliation to happen on such a widespread scale, and that's why they're looking at a big challenge now as they work to help Americans who are in countries across the entire region.
So again, as this war or conflict, whatever you want to call it, expands, right? We know that there was a torpedo that took from a submarine that took out an Iranian ship yesterday. It's expanding around the region, and I think it's going to continue. But we've had, again, also messages from the administration, whether it's Pete Hegseth or the president or Caroline Leavitt, saying we expect this to be short, but it could go longer, and we're prepared for that.
I don't know that they're prepared for anything. That's the thing that really troubles me, because when you talk about, we didn't expect Iran to respond so well, what did you expect? Because if you listen to the president, he expected, okay, we're going to do this. It's going to scare everybody. The protesters are going to rise up. The regime's going to fall, and I'm going to be done by the end of the weekend.
Right.
And of course, none of that happened.
Yeah, I think that's right. And that does seem to be fairly common with this president, that he'll hit hard and then expect that it's only going to take one punch. But I think we might have underestimated how long this was going to take. We're just going to keep an eye on that. But hopefully the Americans who are trying to get back to the U.S. can do so safely and quickly. Okay, now really when we come back, we're going to talk about family history, family stories, and Roots Tech that opened this morning at 8 o'clock.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Omada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Omada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
Did you get hit with a huge tax penalty this year because of your health insurance last year? Have you spoken with your accountant to find out what your monthly premium really cost you after the government took back that subsidy? I'm Mike at My Policy Quote, and I help families so they don't need to find out the hard way if your income changed. You picked up extra work, sold property, or just had a good year. That tax credit could have cost you thousands. My name's Mike, and at My Policy Quote, my freedom of choice plan saves clients 30 to 60%. Keep your doctors, lower your out-of-pockets, and use a national PPO network. If you pay your own health insurance on COBRA, uninsured, or employer plan is just too much, even self-employed or small businesses, call me, Mike, today. 385-367-6779. Again, that's 385-367-6779. Or visit mypolicyquote.com. That's mypolicyquote.com. All my clients tell me they wish they switched sooner and they could have saved all those thousands of dollars over the years. Don't delay. Call today.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Right now, UCCU is offering short-term savings options with incredibly high yields. Simply make a deposit, then watch your savings grow with a fixed rate of return that's much higher than a savings account. UCCU also has great offers on jump-up options. So if rates continue to rise, you can jump up your rate and earn even more. Visit uccu.com to learn more and supercharge your savings today. UCCU. Love where you bank.
I'm Walker Kessler, and I play basketball for a living. So I know how important it is to have the support of a team you can trust. That's why I love UCCU. UCCU is more than a credit union. They're a true financial partner. A local team of experts your entire family can trust at every step of your financial journey. Just visit uccu.com and elevate your banking experience.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Inside Sources.
All right. I have a little story to share. So we adopted kids from all over the world, and right now we're raising a granddaughter, and her biological mother is from Romania. She's one of the kids that we adopted from Romania way back in the day. So she has this country project for school. She's in 6th grade, and it's this big thing, and we had to do recipes from the country that she chose, which was Romania. And so I did that with her last night. For extra credit, she had to make a recipe and try it and give a review. The review was 1 out of 5 because it was disgusting. So what we made was a Romanian dessert, which seems to be pretty common in the country, which is basically macaroni noodles in a pudding. So it's like a custard and you bake it. And my husband was like, it's okay. My son was like, I'm not going to eat this. And I was like, it's okay. It's kind of dry. I think the next time I would do it, I would add like a bunch of cream and more sugar. but her review was like 1 out of 5.
Oh, well, macaroni and pudding doesn't sound like a
I
good
know.
mix.
It's interesting, right? So we love to try stuff from around the world, and that's part of our family story. And I know you have a story you want to share.
Well, sure. I mean, feeling connected to your family, feeling connected to your ancestors, I think can really enrich your life. And when I was running for office, I would always tell this story that my father, who was Senator Bob Bennett, was not the first member of my family to run for office, nor was my grandfather, who was also senator. That honor goes to a man named Daniel H. Wells, who was, I think he was a member of the first presidency with Brigham Young, but prior to joining the church, he was a practicing lawyer in Illinois at the same time as Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
And the story goes that Daniel H. Wells met Abraham Lincoln and said, "You, sir, are a dead man. For I swore to myself, if I ever met a man who was uglier than I was, I would shoot him on sight." To which Abraham Lincoln reportedly replied, "Shoot away. If I'm uglier than you, I don't want to live."
Ouch.
And I was told that story by my uncle, who pulled out a picture to show me how much I looked like Daniel H. Wells.
Gosh.
So
family stories, family history. So Roots Tech is really the largest gathering for family history buffs, but also archivists and record custodians. So we have with us Whitney Peterson. She's Central Planning Manager and the ARC Symposium lead. Thanks for joining us today, Whitney.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, look, first of all, I know today Roots Tech kicked off. In fact, I think I might be able to hear that in the background. Set the stage for what's happening there right now.
Oh, well, there are hundreds of people, thousands of people probably here who are ready to kick it off. Honestly, we have a keynote that is starting in just a few minutes with Steve Rockwood, who is the CEO of Family Search.
Well, so this is a gathering of archivists, right? Is that right?
This is a gathering of all types of people. We have a special group of over 130 invited archivists, record custodians, and government leaders from around 50 countries. This is our 6th time doing this, where we bring them and they participate in what we call our archivist and record custodian symposium. That happens just before Roots Tech starts, and then we keep them here during Roots Tech so that they can actually see what is going on here. We have all of these people from all different aspects of the family history ecosystem here at Roots Tech. So they not only can engage with these technologists and other service providers, but they also can see the people who are being impacted by the work that they're doing. Very often, I don't think we think about the record custodians and what they're doing to preserve the records that allow us to have these amazing discovery experiences about our families.
Well, I have to ask then, what is a record custodian? Because to be honest, when I read that, I was like, okay, well, I'm the person in my family history and I've got all the documents that people gave to me, whether they're accurate or not. But you're talking about somebody who is doing this maybe for a country or a locale. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you are your own record custodian in a way. But we have record custodians on all levels of jurisdictions. So we have county archives, we have county archivists, we have state archivists, we have country, national archivists, just all different levels of jurisdictions who are responsible for collecting, organizing, conserving in many cases, and preserving these historical documents. And when we're talking about historical documents, we're talking about birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, but we're also talking census records. We're talking about church records. So in some of these countries, they have records that are so much older than sometimes we think about, right? They have records from the 1500s, even older than that, who they're trying to conserve these, keep them well preserved, so that many, many generations in the future will also be able to see these.
Well, it sounds like a massive logistical challenge. What would you say are the biggest challenges for archivists worldwide?
These archivists work in archives that vary in size, complexity, technology that's available to support them, and honestly, funding. Some have massive, beautiful facilities, and some are not necessarily supported as much by government funding to preserve the records in some of the ways that they'd like to. So that's one of the issues, I think, is just truly being able to preserve them the way that they want to. But access is another huge one, and it's one that impacts all of us as we want to research. They have to walk this fine line of wanting to provide as much as possible for the consumer to be able to access and research, but they also need to make sure that they're following data privacy laws, and they've got laws in their country. They've got their own leadership that want things done a certain way and don't want certain things shared. So some of our restrictions in how many years, how old a record has to be, they have to deal with that. So I think that's one of their other issues. I'm sure they have many, many more, but this is just a couple of them.
Whitney, a number of our guests that we've talked to about Roots Tech that started today have mentioned AI, artificial intelligence. Are any of these archivists able to maybe take home with them any AI tools that they can use for themselves?
That's such a good question. Taking home for themselves, not entirely sure, but we had many sessions yesterday that touched on AI, what we're doing with AI in terms of languages and what we're doing with documents and being able to make the information inside those documents more accessible. And then again, there are so many technology providers that they'll be able to connect with here at Roots Tech to be able to find someone who can help them with the specific thing that they want to do. There's so many possibilities with AI out there, so I'm hoping that opens a lot of doors for them being able to accomplish what they want to do.
Well, now that you're off and running, what's been the most impactful thing that has happened at Roots Tech thus far for you?
Honestly, it's seeing. I love archivists. I come from a family history background, so I love being able to see these archivists come and show them how impactful their work is. We spent a lot of time yesterday talking to them about this very thing, about how many people's lives are changed by the work that they do, and what a blessing it is that they're doing that. So as they walk these halls, watching them see these people just so excited to make these discoveries, that to me makes me happy. I mean, I think anybody loves to know that their job is making a difference, and to know that it's making a difference on such a large scale to millions of people around the world. I think that's really special.
Thank you so much, Whitney. That was Whitney Peterson, Central Planning Manager and ARC Symposium Lead for Roots Tech. And, I'm going to go over there after I'm done with this show today. But for our listeners, it is online for free, rootstech.org. It also is over at the Salt Palace today, tomorrow, and then Saturday, it is Family Discovery Day, and that day is free as well. And the Expo Hall is free every day.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I should at least go check it out online.
You should. It really has been fun to talk with people who have been really involved in the planning and execution of what has grown into just a huge global event. It used to be a big local event. Now it's a huge global event. So lots to look forward to. When we come back, we're going to talk about Proposition 4, and it looks like the effort to put Prop 4 back on the ballot might make it. We're going to check in with the latest on signature verification next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top local story this hour, a 22-year-old from Iowa has been arrested in Colorado, accused of killing 3 women in Wayne County, Utah. Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden tells Inside Sources how they tracked the suspect.
So we were able to use some automated license plate readers that gave us some information, but then also some of the integrated tracking services in the vehicle. We were able to use both of those.
2 of the victims were found dead yesterday afternoon on a hiking trail just outside of Torrey. Then another woman was found dead at a home near Lyman. We have a team of reporters on the scene, and we will have updates throughout the day. 1 man is dead after a house fire overnight in West Jordan. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
It was just after 1 a.m. when the West Jordan Fire Department was called to the scene near 4000 West and Old Bingham Highway. Battalion Chief Travis Bell tells KSL they found the man as soon as they went into the home.
Our firefighters did a great job of finding the person and giving him every opportunity at survival, but unfortunately he was declared deceased at the hospital.
Ball says they searched the home and found no one else inside, and the man didn't seem to be trapped, but the investigation will continue today as they search to find what caused the fire. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the markets are down across the board. The Dow Jones is down 969 points. That's nearly 2%. The S&P 500 down 92 points. That's 1.3%. And the Nasdaq down 283. That is 1.2%. Coming up, a real whiplash from winter to spring. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hey folks, it's Jay Broadbent here with Alpine Home Medical, celebrating 28 years of keeping Utah and Idaho comfortable and at home. Back in '97, I started with a truck, a dream, and a lot more hair. Today, we've got 11 stores from Idaho Falls to St. George. From the moment you step into our clean, welcoming showrooms, you'll feel the Alpine difference. Our team will be there to listen and guide you to the best solutions for your needs. We believe that the right equipment can transform lives. We're honored to be a part of your healthcare journey and to help you live the life you deserve. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
What if Jurassic Park really existed? Well, you would need a reliable mobile connection to keep you online at the park. With Xfinity Mobile, you have Wi-Fi where you need it and 5G everywhere else. Whether you're live streaming a T-Rex feeding or downloading park maps when you're lost in the Gallimimus Run, you can stay connected with Raptor fast speeds. Xfinity Mobile is there for you at home and at the park because it was born ready for you to roam. Xfinity. Imagine that. And now you can cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. That's xfinitymobile.com and watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of 2/10/26. Taxes, fees extra.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free Gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Michelle Rowe.
We have a crash northbound I-15 in Far West at the on-ramp to go northbound at 2700 North. It is off to the right, not causing any delays. Also, travel restrictions for Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Things are heating up in the valley this week as we see highs soar through the 40s and 50s, hitting 65-degree highs on Monday. Throughout the week, the lows will remain in the mid to high 30s. Right now, it's 39 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, it's Holly Richardson and Jim Bennett today. And Jim, we have talked a lot about, even this morning, we've talked about the efforts to change district boundaries in the state with gerrymandering, not gerrymandering, and whether it's gerrymandering, I think, depends on which side of the aisle you sit on. But there's an effort underway, and final counting is underway, with putting a proposition on the ballot in November that would allow Utah citizens, again, to weigh in on whether they want Proposition 4 to remain. It's not even Proposition 4 anymore. We just call it that. But to remain in the Utah Constitution, which sets up an independent redistricting commission and puts guardrails on if the legislature doesn't use the maps that this independent redistricting commission comes up with, they still have to stay within the guardrails. Anyway, there's been a whole effort, and it sounds like maybe the Republican push to get this on the ballot to repeal is going to be successful. So we have with us on the line Taylor Morgan, partner at Morgan May Affairs and executive director of Count My Vote, who has been tracking it by the hour. Thanks, Taylor.
Holly, great to be with you.
What's the latest?
Well, here is the latest. As of this morning, March 5th, the initiative that would essentially repeal the Independent Redistricting Commission and Standards Act initiative from 2018, as you rightly pointed out. We call it Prop 4, but that is the technical correct name of that effort. The initiative by the Utah Republican Party that would repeal that has gathered 165,992 valid signatures across the state, and they have met the minimum number required in 26 of our 29 Senate districts, which means as of right now, they have met the requirements to qualify for the November ballot. The deadline for clerks to finish the verification of signatures that have been submitted is March 9th. And then the deadline for signature removal, and we know there is a well-organized, well-funded signature removal effort being coordinated, led by the Better Boundaries organization. That signature removal campaign has until April 22nd. And so even though they have met these thresholds as of today and may add to these numbers, nothing is really certain until after April 22nd.
Well, my own son that came to me and talked about it and said, I signed this not knowing what it was. And when I explained to him what it was, he says, how do I get my signature removed? And he's in the process of doing that. If somebody wants to remove their signature, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, first, if you are wondering if you signed it, if you're not totally sure, you can find a list of signers. You can go to vote.utah.gov. You can also go to your county election official's website, and you can search for your name to confirm whether or not you have been listed as a signer. If you are a signer, you have to submit a hard copy paper form requesting to have your name removed as a signer, that has to be signed, and it has to be either mailed or hand-delivered to your county clerk's office. It cannot be sent in electronically. You cannot email or call to do that. You have to sign the paper and either mail it in or take it in.
So let me ask you this question. When this goes on the ballot, it is asking, if it does, but it sounds like it's got the signatures to do it. When this goes on the ballot in the fall, it won't probably be the only thing on the ballot for voters to look at. That's one thing. But the other thing is, how is the language going to be worded, Taylor, so that it's not confusing? Because I know that there are people who feel like they signed because it was being presented as the anti-gerrymandering bill, and people don't want gerrymandering. So back to my original comment of it depends on where you sit, I guess. How is it going to be put on the ballot so that voters clearly understand what this would do?
Yeah, that's a really important point. Great question, Holly. With a citizens initiative in this case, the state elections office, the lieutenant governor's office, works with the Office of Legislative Research and General Counsel to essentially craft ballot language that will be neutral and accurate to the initiative. Also, there will be pro and con statements written, and there will be opportunities for opponents and proponents to each review and have some input, even though they won't be able to control the pro and con statements and what is actually finalized and posted online and in the voter guides. So it's a little bit of a different process for a citizen initiative as it is for a measure placed on the ballot, say, by the legislature. In that process, the legislative leadership has a lot more control over the ballot language. And of course, I bring that up because of the recent controversy regarding the ballot language involving Amendments A and Amendments D last year. They were invalidated in part due to the ballot language. So this is really messy. There's a lot happening here with ballot measures and initiatives, constitutional amendments in Utah. And so I will say this will not be the only ballot measure on the November ballot. That is for certain.
Well, but it's the only citizen initiative, correct? I mean, any other ballot measures can be put there by the legislature. Is that right?
It's the only citizen initiative, correct? We do have a resolution that was passed last year in the legislative session to amend the state constitution to raise the threshold for initiatives to pass the ballot from 50% to 60% if that initiative impacts taxes. And so that is already on the November ballot. So we will have we'll have one ballot measure and one constitutional amendment, and we will likely have more coming. The legislature has already indicated that they plan to craft a new version of Amendment D during a special session this summer that would be on the November ballot as well.
And can you remind our listeners what Amendment D would have done?
Amendment D was the legislature's attempt to essentially reestablish their power over any and all code in the Constitution, right? They were trying to clarify that the legislature has the constitutional power to change any laws, even if those laws are created by initiative. They were trying to do that after the 2024 Utah Supreme Court ruling saying they could not change initiatives after passage under certain circumstances. So we will see, again, what they try to do with that language this summer, but that will be on the November ballot as well.
So there's going to be something on the ballot that's the citizen initiative to repeal Proposition 4 and also Amendment D, which was designed also to repeal Proposition 4. And both of those are going to be on the ballot this time around?
Well, Amendment D was designed to reaffirm the legislature's constitutional power over any and all initiatives.
But it was aimed at Proposition 4.
Prop 4, correct. That's right, Jim. It was aimed as a resolution at Prop 4, but it also solves that question for any and all initiatives in the future. That's their goal.
All right. Thanks so much for keeping an eye on that. I follow you on X, used to be Twitter, and you just have the up-to-the-minute updates, so I appreciate that, Taylor. That was Taylor
Thanks,
Morgan.
Holly.
Yeah. He was he really has a really good finger on the pulse of what's happening there. So when we come back, we're going to talk with Matt Sandgren from the Hatch Foundation, the Orrin Hatch Foundation, about an announcement he's got for this summer. So stay with us over the break.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. I've recently seen two just delightful plays at Hale Center Theater. One is called Peter Pan Goes Wrong. When a local drama company stages Peter Pan, the stalwart thespians and crew face about any disaster or mishap that you can imagine, and their distress and their consternation fuels our delight and laughter. This is so much fun, and I challenge you not to laugh. And plus, my favorite radio station even gets a nod in this ill-fated production. And then, on the brand new Beehive stage, two local playwrights, Fox and Dietline, have a brand new musical, Hallmarked. It includes tidbits of every Hallmark movie plot you have ever seen. A young woman heads to Vermont to save a floundering reality cooking show, but she's determined not to be Hallmarked. You're going to love the play. You're going to love the music. Get your tickets at hct.org. Don't forget, Hunchback of Notre Dame coming up on March 9th.
This is Jeff Stout with Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. Let's talk conventional versus FHA loans. Both offer cash-out refinances up to 80% loan-to-value or LTV, so which is best for you? It's kind of like Uber and Lyft. I always compare the two before booking a ride. Conventional loans don't have mortgage insurance under 80% LTV. However, the rates and costs get higher with lower credit scores, cash-out, and high LTVs. FHA loans always have mortgage insurance, but the rates are lower, they don't penalize you for cash out and high LTV loans, and they allow for higher debt-to-income ratios. FHA often results in lower payment even with mortgage insurance. We can analyze your situation within minutes. Call us today. Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple, 801-264-9494. That's 264-9494. Or on the web at finkmcgregor.com. NMLS 289115.
It's time for March Window Mania. From Advanced Window Products, bounce on over to your phone and they'll give you $2,500 off your quote on 10 windows or more. Get the Home Court Advantage. They'll build your windows right here in Salt Lake City, custom for Utah's climate, and you save because they sell direct to the public, no middleman. It's a new season. Spring is here, and when it comes to state-of-the-art custom windows and insulated frames, Advanced Windows is top-seeded, so put them at the top of your bracket and make the call, 801-850-9100. You'll get $2,500 off from the family-owned champion since 1986. For 40 years, they've been building and installing replacement windows. Don't wait for the draft to come seeping through your old windows. They'll save you a ton of money on your energy bill, and Advanced offers financing as low as $150 a month. It's the March Window Mania special. Quick, before the buzzer, make the call, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or visit advancedwindows.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found Tax Relief Advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad. for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
And expanded Inside Sources.
So, I don't know how much you know about the Orangey Hatch Foundation, but it was set up to really talk about civility and solutions being the twin pillars of needing to work together, right? I mean, certainly Orrin Hatch gained a reputation for being able to work across party lines, especially with his relationship with Senator Kennedy. And man, is that needed today more than ever. So we have with us today Matt Sandgren. He's the executive director of the Orangey Hatch Foundation. He also was the former chief of staff to Senator Hatch. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
Hi, Holly. It's good to be with you. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. I understand you might want to talk to us about an event you've got coming up this year.
We do. I am thrilled to announce, and the KSL listeners are the first to hear, but as you know, every year we do our Titan of Public Service Award Gala. We plan this every August, and we do it in the beautiful Grand America Hotel. We've had the likes of Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Secretary Elaine Chao. We've had Senator John Thune, now the Majority Leader of the Senate. Last year we had Senator Tom Cotton, the third in leadership out in D.C. But this year we're honored to welcome Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming. He is currently serving as the Senate Majority Whip, or the second in command, right under the Majority Leader, and he will be coming to Utah on August 13th at the Grand America. And so we hope that everyone, anyone and all are welcome to join us in celebrating his remarkable service to our country. As you know, the award is focused on public service. Orrin Hatch, as you know, served in the Senate for 42 years. And this award is to recognize those who have done so much in public service and have led, as you mentioned, with civility and dignity and trying to maintain the institutions of our government. And John Barrasso is that recipient this year. So we're just excited to welcome to Utah.
Well, what is it about Senator Barrasso that really stands out to you that makes him deserving of this honor?
Is this Jim? And
It is.
Anytime I see a Jim Bennett, I think of the days when we had the Hatches and the Bennetts together. It's good to hear your voice.
Yes, it's good to hear yours as well.
Well, I will say this: why Senator Barrasso? I mean, it's a lot of the boxes that he checks is first his public service commitment, and there's no doubt that he has met that requirement, right? But he's been serving in the United States Senate since 2007. He also served in the Wyoming legislature. He was in the Wyoming State Senate and was known as Wyoming's doctor. He has given so much through his medical practice. People don't know this, but he's a medical doctor by training. And so he is known as the Senate Majority Whip, but he's also known as Dr. John Barrasso. And it's just remarkable the type of, if you ever meet him, he truly has a bedside manner, that he approaches things as a doctor. He diagnoses and then he moves, and he likes to bring solutions to pass. We do see in Washington, I will say this, I'm in the thick of it as I see what's going on out in Washington. There's a lot of division. We've got a partial government shutdown at the moment, which is not doing anyone service right now with everything on that front. But they will work with you, and I've watched out both parties. Ultimately, if there is some movement, I'm hoping that they will come together on something like funding our government.
So can you just expand what's happening in D.C. right now, especially since you have so much experience being there?
All right. Well, it's not been as smooth. I was actually, first off, I'm sad to see Burgess Owens leave. I think he is such a class act, leaving our federal delegation. I love Representative Burgess Owens. He's served our country and our state very well. But I will say there's a lot happening. you've seen some of the situation with Iran. It's very sad we've lost some of our finest with our servicemen and women who have given the very most and through their sacrifice in defending our freedoms. I'm very sad about that. But we've got a lot happening with Iran and that conflict. The partial government shutdown is top of mind. There's a lot going on with the tariffs and the recent Supreme Court case that struck down those tariffs. The problem with that case, and as many of our legal scholars out there would agree, it was really ambiguous. Do we need to pay those tariffs back? And they were silent on that. So there's going to be a lot of fighting going on of what we're doing on that front. We also have midterm elections coming down the pike. People were like, midterms? That's not until November. But in Washington speak, we're already in March. We're already talking about August recess and getting ready for the midterm elections. There's a lot going on artificial intelligence on the policy front. I know that impacts Utah a lot when we talk about data centers and energy costs and how that impacts things. President Trump assembled some of the big tech leaders yesterday in the White House to say, you got to help offset the costs of these data centers. So there's a lot going on. Depending on the day you choose, there's never a dull moment, that's for sure.
Well, it's interesting to hear you talk about what's going on now in the context of this award for civility. And,
right.
Because I think so when last time I worked in Washington, I was actually an intern for the Senate Majority Whip, who was also from Wyoming, Senator Alan Simpson. It's interesting that seems to be that's handed down to Wyoming senators. But the environment now is so much more polarized than the environment was then, wouldn't you say?
I would say yes, as we are, I'm thinking about, just to talk about the Senate race for Texas. Look at what's happened with John Cornyn. Senator John Cornyn of Texas, who has served, he also was in Senate leadership. He was in the running last Congress to be the majority leader. And he's been in a very contentious primary, right? And I think we haven't heard yet. I think it's been rumored that President Trump is going to likely endorse him. Just to shine some light on what that means, if we continue with that primary just between the Attorney General Paxton and John Cornyn till May is when their primary would be, they're anticipating it would cost just $100 million for the cost of that election alone. So there's so much going on, but it's divisive. You've got a lot going on and a lot hanging in the balance. I go back to even the partial government shutdown, right? No one celebrates what happened in Minnesota, by the way. It's a travesty to see life lost, right? That should never happen. Everyone, I think, would agree with that. But shutting down a significant portion of the Homeland Security budget over that, where ICE has already been funded, by the way. ICE, which is the issue that many folks are worried about, has been funded through the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that was passed last year. So there's already money funding ICE. So the DHS agencies like TSA, FEMA, Homeland Security, just in general, during a time when we're in war with Iran, is really disconcerting in many respects, right? So I'm hoping that there's hopefully some sign that we could get something done on that.
Matt, I'm going to ask you just to go back to the Titan of Public Service Award. If our listeners want to find out more information about how they could attend, where can they go?
Thank you for asking, Holly. That is the best question I've had. You can go to OrrinHatchFoundation.org, and it's Orrin with 2 R's, so it's ORRIN HatchFoundation.org. And on the site, we'll have information for tickets and sponsorship opportunities, how you can attend, and that is on August 13th in the Grand America Hotel in Salt Lake City. I think anyone would agree is one of the best venues you could go to.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. That was Matt Sandgren, Executive Director of the Orrin G. Hatch Foundation, former Chief of Staff to Senator Hatch. He's been on the Hill for quite a while. Okay, when we come back, we're going to go back to Wayne County, not literally, but we do have somebody down there that we're going to talk to where the 3 women were found dead yesterday. We're going to talk with Don Brinkerhoff, who's down there, and actually get some information on women's self-defense and what women need to know.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
All right, stay with us over the break.
It's 11:29 here at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top national story this hour. From ABC News, the White House continues to stand by their decision to strike Iran.
Sort of a cleanup effort after the Secretary of State Marco Rubio earlier this week had said that the reason for the action was because they thought that if Israel had gone first, there would have been significant retaliation by Iran that would have endangered U.S. personnel and assets in the region. But now yesterday, the White House was saying the president had a feeling based on fact about this imminent threat by Iran. But Caroline Levitt didn't give more specifics about intelligence behind that.
ABC's Karen Travers reporting from the White House. We spoke live earlier this morning with ABC's Jordana Miller in Jerusalem, and she described what it's like living in an area under constant threat of being attacked.
We just came out of the bomb shelters just 5 minutes ago. I was actually with my son and trying to go to the park, and usually we get like a pre-notice and then the sirens, but this time we just heard the sirens and we just went running for our bomb shelter, which thankfully is just around the corner from our house in the park. And it's hectic, it's stressful. There's no question about it. Because you're wondering how long is it going to last, and are we going to hear things in, booms and, what's happening.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the markets are down across the board. The Dow Jones is down 1,011 points. That's 2.07%. S&P 500 is down 90 points. That's 1.3%. NASDAQ is down 287 points at 1.26%. Coming up, could it be spring already? KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
The crash in Far West at 2700 North at the on-ramp has cleared. We do have a fresh crash, though. This is in Park City. Kearns Boulevard, which is SR 248, just east of Comstock Drive. They do have multiple emergency vehicles, and that is jamming up traffic in the area. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Highs are going to be moving up through the 40s and 50s this week until Monday when it hits an apex of 65 degrees. Right now it's 41 degrees and cloudy. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
It's Holly Richardson and Jim Bennett today, and we have talked several times during the show about the triple homicide that happened yesterday down in Wayne County. We talked with Lieutenant Cameron Roden with the Highway Patrol. He joined us earlier with the latest developments on the suspect and what happened.
The suspect that is in custody in Colorado is a 22-year-old resident out of Iowa that has no relationship with the victims and no connections to the area. So, like you had mentioned, kind of one that we are still putting all the pieces together about this incident and trying to see ultimately why it all occurred. But as far as the incident that it happened, he stole a vehicle from a registered owner that was killed in the Lyman area. That vehicle was driven over to a trailhead near Teasdale and near Torrey, and off of SR 12, where that vehicle was left, and then that's where the other crime scene was, where the other two deceased females were located. One of those deceased females was their vehicle was taken, and that's what the vehicle that law enforcement tracked through southern Utah into northern Arizona and eventually into Colorado, where Colorado agencies were able to take him into custody.
So that was interesting to find out, first of all, how they were able to track this vehicle. And, now we have modern vehicles that have all of the GPS stuff in there, and that was one of the things that they used. So we have with us on the line, it's Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio reporter, live in Loa, and he's been talking to members of the community this morning. What's it like this morning, Don?
Solemn, Holly, in a simple word, solemn. Everyone is talking in kind of hushed tones. There's a sense of disbelief, a sense of how could this happen here? Practically everyone I've talked to this morning has said we don't lock our doors on our houses. We don't lock the doors on our cars. We leave the keys in the cars. This is a neighborhood. It's not like a city where you might not know the person across the street. These people know each other, and they're stunned. They're just in shock by what happened yesterday. And everyone I've spoken to is just expressing their disbelief. And one gentleman told me, he said, this is going to change everything.
Well, we know that schools closed and some other businesses, but are those still closed, or are things opening up now that, according to the police, that there is no active threat?
So the schools will remain closed. They decided to close the schools today. The schools will also be closed tomorrow. They're on a 4-day week this week, and so the schools were already going to be closed. So students won't be going back until Monday. However, the school district has said they have counselors ready and available immediately for anyone who needs them. Most of the other things have started opening up. People are going to the store. People are doing their shopping. People are moving around, and you're seeing what would kind of be normal, maybe not as much as normal, but it's kind of getting back to normal other than the schools are closed.
So, Jim earlier was telling our listeners that it's the random nature of it that makes it so frightening, right? That there doesn't seem to be any connection with the suspect and the women who were killed, but it was 3 women. And that, I think, just begs the question, what can women do? And Don, I learned just today that outside of your role at KSL News Radio, you've taught women self-defense for over 20 years. So what do we need to know?
Holly, the thing that we teach and we try to tell everybody, you have weapons. You have your hands, you have your elbows, you have your knees. There are a lot of different things that everyone has that can be used as a weapon. And the key is just fighting. One of the things that people don't realize is that when people fight back, even if they are not big and strong, and when they fight back, it deters, it kind of causes the person that is attacking you to hesitate.
Well, when people are called upon to sort of defend themselves out of the blue, that's a different circumstance than if they see it coming. How can they be prepared to defend themselves in those kinds of circumstances?
That is the most difficult thing, and reaction is, the body will go into a fight or flight mode, and hopefully it's fight mode in the right time. One thing I tell people is don't go for the groin first, because everybody knows that. I like to go for the eyes because it makes someone blink. And when they blink, then you hit the soft targets, the nose, the groin, the stomach area. I really like liver shots because they'll double people over for minutes.
Wow. So, Don, I'm learning a whole lot about you. Tell our listeners, with this solemnity down there and this idea that there are things that women can do when it comes to self-defense. And I know that some of my friends who run, like, they carry pepper spray. And is that something that you advise people to do if they're out on a trail, is if they're hiking alone or hiking with another female friend, that they should carry something like that as well?
Absolutely. I love pepper spray. But the one thing that I tell people is if you're going to carry pepper spray, use it. Learn to use it. Just like you wouldn't carry a handgun if you didn't know how to fire it, you need to learn how to use pepper spray. The sprays have different spray patterns, and so you need to find out, okay, what type of spray pattern do I have? If women are looking at, okay, I'm going to go get a pepper spray can, get 2 and blow the first one out.
Is that
spray against a target? Kind of find out what it's going to do. How is that pepper spray going to disperse so that you can make sure and get it on the eyes, in the nose, so that it has the most effect. My favorite type, and they're kind of hard to find, is what I call a fan, where it comes out in kind of a flat fan, and I like to go from the top of the head to the bottom of the chin.
Is that something you offer in your training, is how to use pepper spray? And is there something else besides pepper spray that might be something that women might want to use?
I don't teach pepper spray because you get into trouble when you're dispersing chemicals like that. And so I don't personally teach it, but I will definitely coach people through it, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Other things that I really like are whistles, loud beeping keychains. There, at one point you could get a keychain that all you had to do was just pull it, and it would kind of pop a little key out, almost like a hand grenade, and just start emitting just a shrill noise. One of the things that people don't realize is when an attacker is doing something, they don't want to be noticed. They want to try and get done and get to a safe out of the way, dark place, out of sight, out of mind. And so the more noise you make, the worse they're going to feel about trying to continue their attack on you.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio reporter live in Loa, and reminding us to be safe when we're out there. And, you know, we have a texter who said, be aware of your surroundings at all times. I think, of course, that's great advice. When we come back after the break, Jim, I'm going to ask you to share some of your experiences being part of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. I have never had that experience, so I want to learn from you. Stay with us over the break.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that can make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 801-896-9622. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This is Derek Miller, speaking on business. Founded in 2015, the Women's Leadership Institute helps more Utah women step into leadership, whether in business, politics, or the community. Through programs and partnerships, they're creating real change and opening doors for women across the state. Chief Executive Officer Melanie Jones.
Leadership isn't about displacing men. It's a multiplier. Companies grow stronger when men and women lead side by side. Through programs like the Rising Leaders Series, Career Development Series, and Political Development Series, we're preparing women across the pipeline. And our next frontier is equipping women for the C-suite, because Utah is most competitive when women are in every room where decisions are made.
The Women's Leadership Institute continues to empower women in Utah by fostering connections, offering guidance, and creating opportunities that advance careers and grow impact. To learn more about their programs, visit WLIUT.com. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
We have breaking news right now that President Trump has thanked Kristi Noem for her service, has fired her, and is replacing her with a senator from Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin.
Yeah, but Kristi Noem isn't fully fired. Apparently, she's going to become the special envoy for the Shield of America, which is not a thing.
Not
but it's
yet.
going to be a thing on Saturday, apparently.
So
maybe like the Board of Peace.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, what's interesting about that is that she has been on the hot seat for sure, right? And head of DHS, and very, I would say, combative when she was called in front of both the House and the Senate. And I started to see rumblings online that Trump was starting to ask people who he could use to replace her. So here today, she's fired. We can dip into coverage right now from ABC.
Senator Kennedy during these heated briefings and hearings on Capitol Hill just yesterday. I'm also told that there has been a lot of frustration with how Noem has handled several instances, not just this particular one on the Hill testifying before Congress, but also just a few days ago, it was her decision along with one of her top advisors, Corey Lewandowski, to ultimately pause and put a hold on TSA PreCheck due to the government shutdown. I'm told by multiple sources that then White House officials had to intervene then to correct that. So this is coming after a lot of frustration, not only from President Trump, but also top members of his administration expressing concern about some of her actions, and ultimately the president making this decision today to now get Kristi Noem out and completely replace her, Kira.
And Rachel, let's talk more about the senator from Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin, who now will replace former Secretary Kristi Noem there overseeing DHS. What more do we know about him, and your thoughts on why you think the president made this choice?
In these final hours leading up to this decision, Kira, I'm told that I was told that President Trump was working the phone, speaking to Republicans on Capitol Hill, and this is something that the president does, right? He likes to get on the phone with Republicans and allies, and he asks them questions. So one of the things he was asking them is who exactly do they think should serve in this role? Clearly, the president is concerned about one thing, a confirmation battle ahead. Senator Markwayne Mullin is respected up on Capitol Hill by Republican allies. He's someone that many Republicans, including top administration officials, believe could ultimately get through a Senate confirmation battle. Obviously, Republicans do have majority in the Senate right now. On top of that, Senator Mullin is also a firebrand. He is known for having some of these explosive exchanges, even on hearings on Capitol Hill. He is a fierce defender of the president as well. And top administration officials do believe he's someone that will be able to work more closely with the administration and more in line with the administration as compared to some of these recent incidents with Secretary Noem.
Rachel, thank you. I want to bring in our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky now. Aaron, you've been covering the Department of Homeland Security, the fight for funding.
So we just listened to a little bit of news from ABC about the firing of Kristi Noem and her replacement, potential replacement. I guess he needs confirmation for Markwayne Mullin, which, Jim, the question for me is going to be, okay, well, that's going to narrow the Republican majority in the Senate.
Well, who's the governor in Oklahoma? Is it a Democrat or a Republican? Because
it's a Republican.
If it's a Republican, then they're going to appoint. If somebody in the House resigns,
process.
There has to be a special election. But if a senator resigns, they appoint somebody to fill out the rest of the term.
Okay, well then maybe it's a wash then. Okay, let's go to your stories if we can about being in the choir, because we only have 7 minutes left.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, I've been in the choir since 2019. It's been one of the great joys of my life. We just got back from a tour to Brazil, which was one of what they're calling their Songs of Hope tour. We've been to Mexico City, we've been to the Philippines, we've been to Argentina, we've been to Peru, and it's just been absolutely delightful.
So tell me about what it's like to try out for the choir, because it sounds totally intimidating to me.
Well, trying out the choir is quite the process. So it's a 3-step process, and the first one, you send in a recording, and back in 2019 when I auditioned, I had to send in a CD. And even in 2019, CDs were sort of antiquated technology. Yeah. So the only CD player I had was my daughter's CD changer in her car. So I listened to it, burned it, and listened to it in the car. And then I went, okay, this is great. And I sent it in. And a few days later, my daughter says, hey, I heard your audition. It sounded great. Like, wait a minute, you heard my audition? Yeah, it was in the car. Oh, crud, what did I send to the choir? And I had sent in one of her mixtapes, and the first song on it was Kiss by Prince.
Oh, gosh.
So I just imagined Mac Wilberg sitting down and hearing, what does Jim Bennett sound like? You don't have to be rich. And so they were very kind, and they called me, and we said, we think you sent us the wrong CD.
That was very kind.
They were very nice, and we went through the process. And the second is this big written test, which is really kind of daunting. And then you do a live audition, which I absolutely bombed.
Oh, wow.
I go in there, they hand you a piece of music, and they say, just sing it. And no one's accompanying you. You just got to read it. And so I did the best I could, and Mac Wilberg just said, no.
Oh, wow.
And I walked out, and I went there was a lady standing outside, and I was looking for somebody to give me a sort of there. And I said, I think I really messed up in there. And she looked at me, and she said, well, it is very hard. I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. But they must have been desperate because they pulled me in, and
wow.
And so it's just been my first day. I thought I was going to get kicked out of the choir.
Oh wow!
Because Mac Wilberg comes down and he reads you what he calls his list of "you might be disappointed ifs."
Oh,
like you might be disappointed if you want to be a TV star. You might be disappointed if you want to be a soloist. And he got to one that just made me crack up, where he said, "You might be disappointed if you have original poetry that you want the choir to set to music." And I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. And after he was done, and at the end of it, there was a choir staffer that came in and he was going to give us a tour of all the tunnels under there. That's the Mines of Moria.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he says, "Anybody have any questions?" And I raised my hand. And I said, "Yeah, are you the guy I submit my poetry to?" And I thought that was great. And he just looked at me, and we don't need that kind of an attitude in this choir. We don't need this choir. I thought, oh, I'm in big trouble. But again, I somehow survived that too, so I'm still here.
So I know I've seen from some of your social media posts that you stand up in the back, right?
Right.
First of all, is it because you're really tall, or is it because okay?
It's all height.
Okay, it's height. So they put the tallest at the back.
They put the tallest in the back, and for a while I was arguably the tallest member of the choir, but we had a guy join who's 6'10".
Oh wow!
And Big John, we call him.
Oh wow!
And we call it the witness protection program back then, because the camera never gets
goes
up
there.
to the back
And
row.
and what do you sing?
I sing second tenor.
Oh wow!
And
awesome.
So a lot of people ask me, do you know so-and-so in the choir? And usually I'll answer, well, are they a tall second tenor? Because otherwise probably not. But it's gotten better. When you go on tour, you really make an effort to get to know people. So I've gotten to know more people.
I'm going to ask you a question because I don't know. First of all, how many members are there total of the choir? And then how many go on tour? Is it everybody?
It isn't everybody. I think it's 360 members of the choir, if I'm getting that right. And a lot of people can't go on tour, and it's a big commitment in terms of time. But, I think they take about 320.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's almost everybody,
choir
though.
members. Yeah, most people who want to go get a chance to go. And then they take a bunch of the orchestra as well. About 500 people, I think.
Wow.
Went to Brazil.
That's a big logistical
It's unbelievable,
thing.
and they handle it really, really well.
Wow.
It's really surprising.
Can you share with us maybe one memory or experience that really stands out to you in your time in the choir?
Well, one of the things that I really loved, people ask, what's your favorite tour? And it was the Philippines. We sang some songs in Tagalog that the place just exploded. And we didn't even know what the words meant. We just learned them phonetically. And then at the end of the concert, they sang that song back to us from the audience just spontaneously. And then we went out to meet and greet them, and I felt like Elvis. I think it's because I'm tall. But they all wanted to take pictures with us, and they were all just so thrilled to have us there, and to be able to see that kind of impact the choir can have.
Yeah,
it really changes you.
And I have one final question, and it seems like maybe the choir is traveling more. Is it just getting back up to speed after the pandemic, or are you actually doing more?
No, we are traveling more, and a lot of that has to do with the choir president, Mike Levitt, former governor, who I'm.
Right. I know.
A wonderful guy. And they're really ambitious about making the choir a world choir. And so that's the tours. That's also including global participants and conference and a whole bunch of other things that have really sort of expanded the reach. And I think this choir presidency has a really great vision.
So when you go to these countries, do you have local performers join you as well?
Occasionally we do, yeah. And we did have this time. In fact, we also, Elder Suarez's daughter came and played the harp at one of the concerts, and nobody told Elder Suarez. It was a surprise to him, so it was really lovely.
Oh, that's very sweet. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. That was my guest host today, Jim Bennett, and so excited to have him. When we come back after the break, Inside Sources will be done for the day, but we will have the noon show? With all the latest news coming up. It's midday. Thank you so much. It's midday, and they'll have information on not only the shootings in Wayne County, but also the firing of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time, 12 o'clock. This is Midday. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Chaleos today. KSL's top story this hour is breaking news. President Trump has confirmed Kristi Noem will no longer serve as the Secretary of Homeland Security. He announced the news on Truth Social, saying Noem will be moving to a different position and will be the special envoy for the Shield of the Americans. Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin will be taking her place in the cabinet. We're learning more about the 3 women who were found dead in Wayne County, as well as the man accused of killing them. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
Police have identified the suspect as Ivan Miller, a 22-year-old man from Iowa. Miller is accused of killing an elderly woman at a home in Lyman, then driving her car to a trailhead near Torrey before killing 2 more women there.
We have nothing to suggest that they were targeted specifically. And again, we have nothing to suggest that they had any prior relationship, and he has no connections to this area.
Roten says Miller then took one of the other victims' cars and drove it all the way to Pasoga Springs, a small town in southern Colorado, where local police took him into custody. And officers say they found a handgun and a large knife when they arrested him. And all the while, investigators are still trying to figure out the motive for these killings and what Miller was even doing in Utah in the first place.
It's going to be something that definitely shakes the community for